Hello, everyone. It's Sophia from the Happy Vagina Project, and I have a lovely guest with me today, Miss Erica Ockensmith.
Hello.
From Northern Essential Mama. And we are going to be talking all about how to spice up your naked, sexy fun time with essential oils. So if you haven't caught any of my videos before about naked, sexy fun time, what I am talking about is scheduled sexy playtime. As parents, it can be hard to engage the libido. It can be hard to have a fun time when it's the end of the night and we're both tired. So scheduling time to get naked and have fun together and be intimate can really help to support your libido and support your connection. Sometimes there's intercourse at Naked Sexy Fun Time and sometimes there is not. So in order to create a positive Naked Sexy Fun Time, a few things are needed. That definitely includes sort of scheduling at a time when you're both awake and aware and excited about spending some time together, whatever that looks like. It's helpful to be relaxed. It's helpful to be in the mood or ready to get in the mood, right? To invite our libido to the party. And it's helpful sometimes to have some props and tools and things that we can use to stimulate the senses, because that is a really great way to tune into the body, relax, and get present. So the reason I wanted to invite Erica is because she's a essential oils mama. We could do a million videos about pregnancy and delivery and essential oils, and we will at some time. But today I wanted to get her thoughts on how to use essential oils in your naked, sexy fun time to enhance connection, relaxation, and maybe even your libido. So I'm going to toss it over to you, my dear.
Well, thanks very much, Sophia, for having me here. So I actually taught this workshop last Valentine's Day, just for a little something fun. So I've done this before, and I've actually used the recipes that we're going to talk about today.
Awesome.
So there's it's tried and true things that we're going to go through, which is always helpful. I mean, you don't have to be guinea pigs. You can just trust that this has been used. Mm-hmm. But I want to give you a little bit of background about essential oils, just a little bit more basics before we jump into how to use them in the bedroom for libido. And then I want to go over some safety aspects as well, because that is important. Yeah. So essential oils are really easy to use, and they're a nice option for just creating, setting the scene sort of in the bedroom or beforehand, or getting you into the mood. And they work directly on our olfactory system. So we inhale them, and that's the smell going into our olfactory bulb, and then that directly affects our limbic system, which is our emotional control center. Mm-hmm. And as women, I think that most of us can attest to the fact that the emotional part of sex is a big part. So immediately there, you can use essential oils to affect that part. Wow. But we also can use them topically to affect our endocrine system, our circulatory system, our reproductive system. So that goes into things a little bit more deeper. So it's not just aromatically and aromatherapy that we use them for.
Got it.
So safety-wise, I will just talk about this very quickly, but we always want to dilute essential oils when we're using them topically. Okay. You can put some oils directly on the top of your skin, and it's okay, but in this sense, and what we're talking about using them in our more intimate areas, you want to be diluting.
Okay. So
they are
no direct essential oils on the genitals.
That's right. Don't put them in your ears, eyes, nose, those three places, but they can go everywhere else.
Excellent.
You want to keep them out of reach of children, although we can use oils with children. You still want to have supervised use. Got it. And be aware of photosensitive oils. So oils, citrus oils, when you put them on your skin and you go out into the sun, they're actually going to attract the sun and potentially cause burn. So let's just no citrus oils in the sunshine, in the direct sun.
Can I ask you a super random safety question?
Yeah.
Is it bad to keep your oils near your microwave?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So
they get affected or
but
not?
they're in brown bottles, right?
Yes.
So the reason why they're in that is so that the sunlight doesn't get in. Microwaves, I'm not sure. I mean, as soon as
Got
you
it.
crack a bottle open, it's going to start to begin an oxidation process over time. So
Okay.
they do have an expiry date. So don't be like me and keep your essential oils under your sink and use them 10 years later. They don't
Also
smell very
duly
good.
noted.
Yes.
Okay.
So also because I think a lot of your group could potentially be pregnant or breastfeeding. So there are some oils we don't want to use in pregnancy, and some that I'm going to talk about today. And there's some that we don't want to use necessarily while nursing. So peppermint oil, if you're ingesting it or applying topically, is something that could potentially decrease milk supply. It doesn't happen with everybody. And then in pregnancy, we typically stay away from peppermint in the first trimester, clary sage, and some of the floral oils. So if you want to know more about that, I'm happy to chat more, but I want to get into the good stuff. So one thing for making sure that you get the most use out of your oils is for effectiveness is that you want to use them early and often. So applying like your sexy oils 2 minutes before you want to get into the mood is not necessarily my best advice, but I will tell you more. And then we can use them topically on our skin. Like I said, we're going to inhale them so aromatically, and some oils we can actually ingest. And I say this with the caveat of you need high quality oils. You need to know that they're actually food grade and edible essential oils. Not all oils are created equal, just like not all food is grown equally. There can be various contaminants in essential oils, so we need to be really careful about, especially when we're using them in this intimate way, we're going to talk about making a lubricant, that you really want a quality oil that has been tested and doesn't have any contaminants or synthetics in it. So lastly, what works for me doesn't always work for everybody else.
Got it.
So we have a lot of options. I'm going to pull out a few different oils, and you're not going to be able to smell them over there, but
I'm gonna get
Sophia's going to smell them and tell you how wonderful they are. And so I just encourage people to use your intuition when it comes to this as well. Like if I'm going to give you a recipe, and if you hate the smell of patchouli so much so that you have an adverse reaction to it, that's not going to be good for your libido.
Yeah.
So pick oils that you have an attraction to, that give you that good feeling. So listen to yourself. Let's tap into that intuition and start to listen to our bodies again.
Totally.
So first of all, I have my notes here. We have to go back to, before we talk about what oils to use in the bedroom, we have to go back to, is there something that's a block, right? So you probably talk about that.
Yes,
regularly.
all the time.
What is that block? What is that barrier for you, or that piece that's just stopping you from making it easy to get intimate with yourself or with your partner? And we look at things like exhaustion, lack of confidence, stress. What are some other things?
I think sometimes, if you're not in a super connected space with your partner, or feeling really, lovey-dovey or intimate in your relationship, that can be a block. Or stress that's specific to worrying the baby's gonna wake up, worrying someone's gonna walk in on you. Just what I call brain gremlins, brain noise. So whether it's stress about the day, whether it's stress about how you're feeling about your body. Other ones are people not feeling the idea that motherhood and sexiness go together.
Yes.
So sort of those societal expectation brain gremlins that kind of go in.
Yeah.
And also just not having a physical space. Sometimes I'm definitely still sharing a bedroom. So that can be tough.
That is definitely a challenge. I don't really have an essential oil for
To
that
magically
specific
make
to
that
give
yeah.
you your own space, but we definitely have oils that can deal with some of that. Depression is another one, and that overall low libido, or if you are postpartum and your hormones are still doing this and kind of coming into their own again, that can affect how things are going in the bedroom for you and your mood to do it. And of course, the whole especially for moms, all the pressure of you have been doing things with the kids all day, you've been breastfeeding, you've had people on you, you haven't had your own space, and all of those things can add to it. So this is where we can use essential oils specific to some of these things. So I want to talk about stress specifically, and there's oils that we can use to just help calm us and release some of that stress, and then that helps to then go to the next stage of being more open to being intimate. So first, let's deal with the stress.
Yeah.
So some oils that we can use are sort of our typical ones. Like everybody knows lavender. It's like Sophia's gonna smell them. You can't smell them. I'm so sorry.
If you guys have any questions, let us know.
Yes.
Lorna, menopausal dryness, totally. That's
Yes.
such a great one, and that's why using lube of any kind,
Yes.
is always beneficial.
And I'm going to give you a recipe for a lube and with some specific oils. So please remind me when we go over the recipe, some specific oils that will help with dealing with menopausal dryness specifically.
Right. Awesome.
So lavender, diffusing lavender. So just like the first way to use these is just put a few drops of whatever is calming to you in a diffuser.
Mm-hmm.
Or alternatively, if you don't have a diffuser, you just put your oil on the palm of your hand and you take 3 deep inhales. And this is just like one of the best ways to like instantly feel more relaxed and calm. So options for that are, like I said, lavender. This is frankincense, which is a very grounding oil.
Really?
It's a tree oil. So
Yeah, it's earthy.
yes, it's earthy. It's a little bit sappy.
Yeah.
And then I want to clary sage. You know what? I'm very sad. I forgot to bring my bergamot. So clary sage is another very calming oil, but it's also really good for helping to, I don't want to say normalize, but balance our hormones again.
Okay.
So, and then the other one I wanted to mention was bergamot, which I didn't bring, and it's a citrus oil, and it's uplifting to the mood as well as very calming. So I really recommend using citrus oils if you are also feeling quite stressed. So just keep it simple. Pick something that you're attracted to, get that on yourself, breathe it in, put it in your diffuser.
And is this like, let's just say we're scheduling sexy time for Wednesday night. Should I be having my diffuser on like all day or like when I'm home, or is this going to work like sort of in the evening or right before?
So if you already know that stress is like one of those blocks for you, and you have in your mind, I want to have sex with my partner, I want like tonight's my sexy time, then I recommend like doing the de-stressing part first.
Okay.
Second would be adding in the libido boosting essential oils.
Okay.
And then, so let's talk quickly about exhaustion. Like lots of us are exhausted at the end of the day, and so that ends up being like, even when we say, okay, Wednesday's going to be the night, and then Wednesday happens and it was super tiring and we kind of talk ourselves out of it. So using, again, citrus oils, like bergamot, wild orange, grapefruit.
I love grapefruit.
Yeah, wild orange. And women really do love grapefruit, and it's the oil of like self-acceptance and body acceptance. So this is a good one.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that just like that can trigger and just start you down that process of feeling good and uplifting your mood and just getting you a little bit more energized again. And again, these are oils that you can put on your skin. So you don't just, I find that sometimes if we put them in the diffuser, we kind of start to forget about them. So put them on your skin, you can rub them on your neck and all sorts.
And you want to be doing that with oil or just directly?
You know, I did say always dilute. And in this instance, if you're not using them every single day,
Got it.
it's okay to use some of them topically without dilution.
Okay.
But I think a general good rule is put a little drop of carrier oil. I use fractionated coconut oil, or jojoba oil is a good one.
Okay. So just a little bit of that, a little bit of
Exactly.
essential oil.
And put it all. Yeah.
Plus, you're going to smell super yummy.
Really good. So let's talk libido oils. I have a very, very long list of oils because not everything works the same for every person. So you have to just figure out what you're attracted to. So things like black pepper, which doesn't seem like something that would be stimulating for your libido, but it can be. It's a warming oil. Some of the spice oils are more, they have that more sexy kind of feeling.
That fire warm
Yes.
heat piece. Yeah.
Cinnamon,
Mm.
which, you know, we know that. There's, yeah, it has that, it has that, that warm, like that fiery, that warmth, that feeling of like just getting things going. It doesn't have that same calming, it doesn't have a calming feeling, like it gives you a different kind of sense within your body.
Yeah.
Ginger is another good one. And then this is a little blend, but I like it. It's actually called Passion. So that, and I, off the top of my head, I can't remember. I think it's ginger and cinnamon and clove and some of those, all those spice oils. So this is after you've got yourself calm, and then you're ready to, you're thinking, okay, well, the kids are going to be going to bed soon. I would be putting on a dab of one of your libido boosting oils, or a couple of them, on your pulse points. And then that way you start to get into that headspace.
Got it.
And then I would be taking your, we're going to be talking about how to make like a pillow spray or like a sensual sheet spray. So you can spray that and get your bed prepped. And then you would also have your massage oil at your bedside. So just simplifying it, and like having enough forethought is important, and just having that plan and
layering
things laid out. Exactly.
Yeah. You're totally making me want to just like add an essential oils page to the Naked Sexy Time playbooks, where it's like, okay, so if you scheduled sex on Wednesday nights, what I'm hearing is do the de-stressing oils like as often as you can.
Yes.
You know, when it's starting to get closer to the time, you can start to do some of these libido boosting oils. You know, and like spraying the sheets is part of what I would call sort of like setting intention in the space. Again, not necessarily for intercourse, but just for naked time together, touching each other and having a nice time, right? So some of the things that I like to talk about are making the space visually pleasing as much as you can, right? So that you're stimulating or relaxing your sense of sight, stimulating your sense of smell. So that's perfect, all these things that we're doing. Making sure there's nice music or that it's quiet, right? So with all of these things, it's sort of a balance of relaxing the senses and stimulating them just enough that we're alert and present and not actually like falling asleep, which is not our goal for Naked Sexy.
That's right. That's right. And I just had a thought in terms of getting everything prepped. And if one of your stressors is that you're worried your kids are going to wake up, then certainly put a diffuser in their room with some sleepy time oils, and then you can feel a little bit more rest assured.
You're good to go.
Yeah. So that is like basically Sophia just summed it up in that it's setting that scene and very simplified. You put your diffuser on, you put your sexy oils on your body to get things going. And I am going to give you the recipes here.
Recipe time.
Yes. So grab a pen or watch the replay, and then you'll be set. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say is that some oils you can take internally. And so if you're really struggling with libido, taking 2 drops of clary sage internally under your tongue or in a capsule, a veggie capsule, daily for 2 weeks can just help you just get over that hump if that's something that you're struggling with. So, and again, not any, like don't take an essential oil internally that doesn't say you can take it internally. I have to be very clear about that. So the first recipe we're going to do is the Women's Aphrodisiac Blend, and this is actually a roller it's a roller blend that I've made. And so it's got some floral oils in there. You'll find that a lot of the women's aphrodisiac oils are floral based. So this is 4 drops of ylang ylang.
I love ylang ylang.
So that one is,
and it's a really great lube oil too, right?
Yes, it is. So 4 drops of ylang ylang, which is really florally. It's good for the hormones. And then we're going to do 2 drops each of clary sage, geranium, patchouli, sandalwood, and bergamot. And then you top it up with 5 mils of carrier oil. So I have little roller bottles, but you could do this in like a little jar or something like that, some kind of container that you have. But the roller bottles are handy because then you just roll it on and you've got this ready to go. So this is like a little perfume basically. So you can have that easily instead, like we talked about, put your favorite oil on your pulse points. If you have it like this, then it's a little bit more convenient. Now, I would say if there's oils in there that you don't like, if you're not a big fan of patchouli or sandalwood, then don't put that in and put more of something else in that does speak to you and give you that like sexy sense. Got it. Then the next one is the personal lubricant and / massage oil. So this comes with the caveat that like it doesn't have any preservatives in it.
Yeah.
I mean, some oils do act as preservatives. Cinnamon has been used as a preservative. However, it's not as shelf stable. So I wouldn't be using it beyond a 6-month period.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like you have to keep it in the refrigerator though. So this one, and this is good. Like it is so good.
I can't wait to try it.
And it's so simple and there's not a lot of essential oil in it. So it's you're gonna find a 2-ounce spray bottle.
Okay.
And you're gonna put in 2 drops of sandalwood, 2 drops of ylang ylang, and 2 drops of clary sage. Okay. Optional, which I highly recommend if you like a little bit of a warming sensation, is to put in 1 to 2 drops of cinnamon, ginger, or black pepper. Okay. And that just gets the loins a little more stimulated. Okay. For both partners. And then it's just topped up with fractionated coconut oil, which is a liquid. It stays in liquid state. Do not take hard coconut oil and melt it and put it in here because it's just not hard enough. Then it's a lube balm. Yeah, I guess you need a different kind of container. It's not just spray. So when it comes to the personal lubricant for women who have more vaginal dryness, this works, but I would use something more like jojoba oil because sometimes coconut oil can be a little bit drying to the tissues, although I haven't found that. It maintains like a really nice viscosity. Yeah, without, it doesn't dry up. So I would try the coconut oil first. Okay. And your oils are ylang ylang, clary sage, and what is the other one? Now I'm drawing a blank. There's one other one. I might have to look it up and get back to you. I'm so sorry. Good. Yeah, but those two, just the ylang ylang and the clary sage on their own, that's going to be helpful for vaginal dryness. I know that's why I put this in here too. So this is not good with latex condoms. So just that's a no-go if you are trying to practice safer sex. And then our sensual sheet spray. So this, I also make in a 2-ounce bottle, but I'm going to give the warning that don't be like me and put them in the same identical bottles because you don't really want to be spraying your linen spray on your
You don't want coconut
genitals.
Oil on your sheet or linen spray on your genitals.
Yeah. Okay. Although it's really not that harmful because it's really just it's similar oils. It's bergamot, 6 drops of bergamot or wild orange, 3 drops of sandalwood, 3 drops of ylang ylang or jasmine, which I brought jasmine for the smell. It's one of my favorites. I love this one. So this.
I wish you guys could be here.
Yeah. We just need to do this one in person.
And yes, Lindsay, I see your note. I will absolutely do a blog post about brain gremlins. I've been meaning to for a while.
So 2 ounces, you'll just fill the bottle with distilled water and put a teaspoon of vodka or a teaspoon of witch hazel in there.
Like witch hazel would be whatever I bought for face is fine?
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter if it's alcohol or not or whatever?
No, it's totally fine.
Got it.
And the last one that I'm going to give you, it's your, I don't know, do you want the Ecstasy Extender Massage Blend or the Let's Get It On Men's Blend?
Oh, let's go Ecstasy Extender.
Okay. So that is 2 drops of geranium, 1 drop each of cinnamon, ginger, lemongrass, and peppermint. And you put that in a 2-ounce bottle and you fill it with fractionated coconut oil. And so
Okay.
it helps to support and prolong reaching climax.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many things to try.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So those are my favorite recipes. I like recommend just making them. You have them at your bedside and create something that's very simple. 1 little roller and 1 calming oil that you use, and just keep it at that.
Mhm.
Don't overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And find the ones that you love, and I love this notion of finding the oils that you connect with and that
Yes.
create the energy that you're looking for. So they may not always be exactly the same for everybody. Some people may not love the smell of lavender. I have been filling my house with it.
And you don't need them all, right?
Yeah.
So like there's some of those recipes have like 3, 4, 5 oils in them.
Yeah.
But if you have 2 out of the 5 oils, that still is going to work. It's not as if it's going to be ineffective. So just go with what you do have. Get rid of your 10-year-old essential oils.
Okay. Do we have any questions before we sign off today? Oh, let's see. I spray my sheets and bedding every morning when I make my bed, and then again a little later in the day to help me relax. That's awesome, Lindsay.
Nice.
And Lorna says, when your partner smells the home, they will know it's intimate time soon.
Yes.
Yes. I don't come from a faith-based background. But there are some really interesting books about sexuality that you can get like at your church, right? And one story that I heard, I can't remember where I picked it up, but this couple used the white rock method. And so if there was an evening that she was feeling in the mood, she would leave the white rock on the mantelpiece, and then he would know that was their way of communicating that he could make a move. And if the rock wasn't there, then it wasn't a go night. Yeah. Which I find so cool, right? It's like, how can we want to be communicating, right? And I talk a lot about this, about how we don't communicate, we make assumptions. So we want to be communicating.
Yeah.
But are there cheeky or,
nonverbal
sort of insider ways that we can communicate that I'm ready or not? So if our partner smells our Ecstasy Extension blend on the sheets, they know it's time. And hopefully they are all ready to go.
It's so true. Like we are so triggered by scent, and so just if we do come into that and that becomes part of our routine, and you use the same oil every single time that you are becoming intimate, it helps you to establish that in your relationship, and it just is this unspoken language, and you just know, and it gives you that good feeling and that connection. So I really recommend it.
And I think your body can have that memory too, where you're like, oh yeah, like last time I wore the ylang ylang, like we had a good time, and so then your body can sort of be like, oh, it's ylang ylang time, right? I did have one random question for you before we go, which is, in my Tantra training, I remember they talked about drops of ylang ylang, like distilled obviously, on the fingers when we were doing internal work around supporting like big releases or big so I do a lot of somatic work, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing massage, and then you might like have a big emotion that comes up and you let it go. And so ylang ylang, and there was one other one, and they were kind of these warming oils that were supposed to support, I don't know, like trauma release essentially. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know a lot about that. There are oils. So I follow Desiree Mangagog, and she is a Chinese medicine practitioner, and she is fantastic. I recommend following her if you are interested in essential oils, and especially in more of Eastern medicine way or more of an emotional capacity. And so she had said something about yarrow being an oil that it purges us, like we can take it internally and it actually will help purge toxins, but it also purges emotions that are like deep stuff. It's not just under the surface, it's deep emotions that you don't know that were necessarily there.
Wow.
So it can be a massive release. And so I do know that like we can use them in that way. I just I can't give the direction in terms of like what oil to use and when.
Yeah.
And just, I think that that's a good thing to bring up though, because if you are using an essential oil, let's say you are using ylang ylang, just take notice of what is happening in your emotional state and in your mind when you are using those oils. And often we can look back and connect it to, well, I started using this oil and I've been feeling this way. And it's not necessarily that it's a bad thing. Don't necessarily hate the oil.
Yeah.
If you have 3 days of emotional purging,
Yeah.
it might just be something that needs to happen. But
Yeah.
again, it's bringing ourselves back to that intuition and listening to our bodies.
Yeah, totally. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having
I'm
me.
super excited to try some of these out. I hope you are too. As usual, you can DM me, email me if you have any questions. You can check out Erica at...
So I have a learning group, an essential oil learning group called Northern Essential Collective, and there's several of us that are essential oil educators in there, so you can find us. And I actually am doing a workshop tomorrow night at 8 p.m. just on essential oil. It's Essential Oils 101. So if you're interested in that, you feel free to send me a private message. So I'll give you more details.
Cool. Thanks so much for popping on
Thank
by.
you. Thanks for
Good night,
watching.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.